Sometimes, in the middle of the night, I forget where I might be. Sometimes I imagine it's in a dream, and that I will awaken and have left images of what I had seen. How long would the images last? Would the story ever be retold? Sometimes I wondered as I watched and I wrote, would the story ever get old? Would the thrones that I had lived by and the dreams that I had had, would the history of life be written as it is in a tree? All the branches as they fell off, and the tree grew ever on. They created burrowed longleaf pine, and it didn't live that long. 1,000 years, and yet you know what happened to the past. Where did it go? Why was it lost? How long can the past last? We ask ourselves these questions, like the lines within the floors. Where did they come from? Where do they go? Will they ever be seen anymore? The art we live by as we grow old, the things that are made, where the stories never get told. How is it possible as things change day by day that some things seem like they last and never go away? Imagine how long ago it must have been when people made things because of what they believed in. And then one day, it seemed to change. And things that were made got rearranged. And somehow, as the days grew older, people didn't find the quality was bolder. And into the day, there was a way for everything to come into place. Windows, doors, parts of even more, suddenly were rearranged. They became a home, a place to sleep. A confessional turned into a way to dream. Old windows, mirrors, and all to show what is possible, what we can salvage, what we can grow. Why would we do this? Why would one build? Why would one create what other one's skills? Cutting the trees, saving the time, making it possible to make these sweet rhymes. That came from buffalo, the hinges from fridge, German silver they call it, and other such things. The fishy fertility, a bottle from years ago of applesauce and waters and salts. As we grow, a place to hang the bed from, to float at night one day, as it has in the past, and it will again, part of a wonderful way. Church pews floating in the air, And then the places we go from there. Eventually down the ladder where we run off to the day. Thank you for visiting where I go to sleep, where my mind and my heart comes to play. This is a space that we call our own, the place that we get away. Join me in the tiny house movement, using all the salvage that you can. For I believe that this is the way to perceive the energy contained. The human energy it took to make the glass, the wood, cut fine, the trees that grew it, their DNA, still in here you find. From walnut, butternut, longleaf pine, cypress, so much. And all the human energy to make the gods, the images you can touch. Why? Why did they make them? Because it's true, indeed, that even a monolito is amazing when you see that many years ago, when I was just a child, and we lived in South America, I got to see something really wild. This was 30 feet high, built out of stone. I got to see it when I was less than 6 years old. At 5, my father took us there, up into the mountains in Peru. We lived in Bolivia. That's what my dad had to do to help control the government. But on the way we saw places that when I grew up still left me in great awe. Why? Because I understood so many symbols then. The ways that man had forgotten all the things that once were him. How did we get to be this way? How did it happen so that I might find a fish out there like the one when I did grow? Yes, long ago in Bolivia, La Paz. It's true. How do you do? How do you run into these things, these signs of what will be? Because as you look around to find, you wonder what you see. All these things that go together with kitty cats to say what happens when someday you find a Buddha on the way. I bought this in dear Germany, the land where I was born, while I was in the army during Vietnam. So when I look back to my life and wonder how it was that I ended up creating houses for others for a cause. How do we save the past, the best there is to have, where all the answers may be hidden when we learn one day the trick? How do we ever learn the way that we can go ahead and one day find within us, as I did before we're dead? Hurry up. Have a beautiful night. Savor the days.